Hi there and welcome to Q&A Wednesday. It is Wednesday. I love Wednesday for multiple reasons. First of all, I actually get to refeed on a Wednesday. So as you can probably see by my face, I'm starting to get pretty lean. I'm actually 8 weeks out from my show. So exciting things happening. Super excited to talk to you today. Actually kind of about this subject, which is how do I stay healthy when I travel? It's kind of funny that people think that, granted, a vacation is a vacation, but when I travel, I can actually stay fairly healthy sorry about that. I had a phone call in the middle of my Q&A Wednesday. That doesn't make me very happy. So whether I travel by plane or whether I'm going on a road trip in a car, I'm actually pretty good at being prepared and making sure that I bring everything that I need to stay healthy while I travel. Because to me, there's no question. I'm getting ready for a show. I have to stay healthy. I have to eat in a very specific way. So I put together a list of things that work for not just me, but they're going to work for everybody. And the biggest thing that I tell people, honestly, is that you have to be prepared. I know for some odd reason we think that health should just happen by happenstance and it should be easy and by chance. It does not work that way. I actually have to work at it a little bit, but by doing a few things to actually be prepared in advance, it makes it super, super simple. So let's talk a little bit about it. When it comes to being prepared, I do things like I do some recon. I'm really good at it. I love Yelp. You use maps, Google Maps, all these great things that we now have these days. I actually know where I'm going, what hotel I'm staying at. As a matter of fact, that what hotel I'm staying at can depend upon many things. Like, does it have a gym at the hotel? Is there a gym in the area? Does my room at the hotel actually have a kitchenette? Does it have a refrigerator, a microwave? That actually can make a big difference, because if I have to actually pay extra to rent one of those things, or if I have to pay an extra like $20 a day to go to a gym, it might be worth it to pick a different hotel. So I already know when I leave exactly where I'm going, like to a ridiculous degree. I know I probably a little bit overkill, but I like to plan. I'm a huge planner. I want to know exactly, I would rather deal with some issues that come up, just the surprises, as long as everything else is taken care of, then I'm good to go. So I've got that all figured out. I also, something else that might sway what hotel I stay at is whether or not it has not a continental breakfast, because to be honest, a continental breakfast usually contains a lot of quick carbs and things that I'm not going to eat anyway. But I tend to stay with certain chains that I know that carry things that will actually have like egg whites down at the breakfast area. So again, I make my decisions based on the area that I'm going to and what I know is available to me. I'm a huge fan of getting on the website of the hotel and checking out their gym. Sometimes their gym might just mean, hey, I have a treadmill here. Woo. And sometimes it actually means, hey, there's a set of dumbbells here. I might actually be able to get something accomplished. So that's always super helpful as well. So usually I know the area. Goodness gracious, I don't know what the deal is about everybody calling me today, right in the middle of Q&A Wednesday. But I also check out the restaurants in the area. I know what places I can eat at, what kind of foods they're going to carry. I kind of have some go-tos. I know we've talked about that in recent past, how to eat out and how to do it in a healthy way. So I know where I can eat and where it's pretty easy to either get food delivered or pick it up or Uber. I just, Uber over taxis any day, let me just tell you. And also maybe where a local grocery store is pretty close, so that I can shop if I need to. So that's all part of my pre-plan. But when I get there, I also have some other options. Let's talk really quickly about flying, because to be honest, it's not that difficult. As a matter of fact, they allow food through the security checkpoint. So, whether you have a 6-pack cooler, whether you have, an actual cooler, you can actually take food with you. When I travel to my competitions, I have everything prepackaged, weighed and measured in little baggies, and baggies take less space than the containers. So it's a little bit easier for me to pack more in there. There's a few rules when it comes to flying. So you always want to check the guidelines that are available to you online. I did some digging today too about international flights, so that I had some information for you. But of course, there's certain rules apply. You can't bring liquids on flights. You already know that. Pastes, things like peanut butter, jelly, applesauce, anything that's more of like a liquidy, pasty, you can't take on. However, that being said, things like maybe packets of almond butter or peanut butter or ketchup, things like that, if it's a sealed packet, it's allowed. Or if something like peanut butter is on bread, that's also allowed as well. When it comes to drinking plenty of water on the flight, because to be honest, when you fly, first of all, just a quick tip, you are going to retain water. At that altitude, actually your body just kind of goes into a mode where it tends to hold on to all that water. So you need to make sure that you're drinking plenty of water while you fly. But I take my own water bottle empty. So I take like something with a hook on it, or just a shaker bottle, and that way once I get through security I can actually fill it up. I usually go to the snack bar and ask them for ice because I like my water cold, but I fill it up and then I can continuously fill it up on my whole trip as I go. So as for taking fresh foods, again, you can actually take that in your cooler, and as long as your ice pack is frozen solid, you can take that through as well. It's when it melts and it's become a liquid that I've had some places allow me to take it and some places don't. So, if you're staying in a hotel and you're ready for your flight home and you haven't had the ability to freeze it, you might have an issue, but they're cheap enough that you can throw it away and get something else. So I do take all my food. Now, quick tip, please be respectful to your fellow passengers on the plane. Poor people. I've taken fish on my flights on my way to some competitions, and I'm sure the people around me are going, oh heck, get this girl away from me. I actually tend to give them fair warning, like, hey, I'm going to eat 3 ounces of fish right now, so close your nose, whatever. And I really haven't had a lot of problems with it, but try to, stinky cheese, things like that, probably not the best option to take with you. But anyway, as for workouts, so, when you get to the area, now here's the deal, guys. If you are on vacation, treat it as such. If you're there to rest and rejuvenate and to just hang out and have a good time, don't stress over trying to hit the gym every day. I don't tend to slow down very well. So when I go on vacation, I really need to go on vacation. And so I might work out 1 or 2 days at a local gym, but for the most part, I need to rest. So same thing with food. If I go on vacation, which I'm working on planning on one of those, Cancun sounding pretty nice right now. I actually have built up to that, and I probably am going to eat some things that I don't normally eat because it is a planned vacation. I've worked my way up to that. So keep that in mind that, if it is a vacation, you might not stress over trying to get to the gym every day. But for the most part, when I do travel, whether it's to see my son down in California or whatever, I tend to honestly have a plan. I know what gym I'm going to go to. I know how many days I need to get there. I'm usually pretty good at getting free entrance. So if you need some tips on that, we'll have to talk. But I've done some research on that. So most of the time I get to go for free. But anyway, but you know what? Plan stuff. If your gym doesn't have a decent, or if your hotel doesn't have a decent gym, sorry about that, or if there's not a local gym close to you, guys, get some resistance bands. They're light. They're easy to check, put in your luggage. They don't take a lot of space, and even if they're not what you're used to using, obviously if you're using heavier weights, it's okay. It will at least help you to get something done, right? Or just have some things figured out for body weight exercises that you can do. Maybe you're gonna be doing a lot of walking. The day we went to Disneyland for Christmas with the kids, and holy cannolis, like 30,000 steps. So that was my cardio. I didn't actually need to do any extra cardio at that point. My Fitbit told me I was fine. So as for car travel, you know what? It's almost easier to do car travel. You just kind of have to have the same gig. You have to be prepared, whether you're packing for your family or whether it's just you. I mean, I still have, and honestly, I just use a big cheap cooler. Especially if I'm going for the weekend, I pack all my food in there. I do pack, don't forget vitamins and supplements. If that's something that you utilize, you don't want to forget those as well. I tend to have my little pill box full of all kinds of whatever I use. It's mostly vitamins, but I take that with me. And something else that I've learned, I actually have like a little bag of extra like seasonings and things that I take. Believe it or not, some places don't have some of the things that I like to use, like Splenda, salt, believe it or not, some sort of packs of salt or something like that to take with me, because I've actually been somewhere, gotten eggs or been able to cook eggs or something to that effect, and then realized I had no seasoning. Silverware, other seasonings. I've been really good about, and lately the hotels I've gone to, I've been able to get a kitchenette and be able to cook my own food while I was there, and hit a grocery store so I can have, my fresh egg whites or whatever it is that I need to have. And then of course, like I said, I've taken my own seasonings and things, so it's made it a whole lot easier to travel recently. And then of course, if you are taking your family, you guys, it's so much cheaper to just bring your own stuff, and it tastes better. You're going to feel better. You're not eating a bunch of crap when you're traveling, which, traveling can sometimes put stress on the body. So if you can eat a little bit healthier as you go, you're going to be better off once you get home. So a couple of tips. First of all, things that are great ideas to take with you. Now, I have a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C, because to be honest, I've been stuck in an airport. Last May, when I went down to see my son in San Diego, I got stuck at the San Francisco airport for like 6 hours because it must have been weather related something. Not my favorite airline either, but I was out of food. And so I actually had to track down some things to make it work for me. But usually when I travel, I do take some extra things, like some extra protein powder, because if I get stuck, I can always get a protein shake. Protein bars, this is the one time when I'm okay with protein bars, just because, again, I'd rather have food than not, and it's non-perishable, so I'm not going to have a problem with it going bad on the way. Protein bars are a plan B or a plan C for me. They are not primarily part of my diet or my meal plan, especially if I'm on prep. I do not eat protein bars on prep, just so you know. Let's see. Ronnie says she uses water bottles for ice, so they defrost, and then she has cold water. Perfect. So freeze it, put it in as your ice, and then as it defrosts, you've got cold water. I love that because that, like I said, I like my water cold. That just works for me. Other things that are great ideas to take with you, tuna packets. I've actually, the little, not the cans, the actual packets. I've taken those before. Again, that's a plan B or a plan C for me. Jerky might be a good one. It is going to be high in sodium. And again, if you fly, you're going to retain some water. So keep that in mind. Nuts. Packets, like I said, packets of almond butter. If you go to like Whole Foods, or you can always order them online, you can actually get the sealed packets of the nut butters, which is super easy and great because it's sealed. They won't bug you about it. Fruits, vegetables. Again, I just literally take baggies of all the stuff that I need for usually the duration of my travel. So it works for me. A couple of other tips that might work for you. Now, if you're a frequent flyer, I've actually had clients who travel really frequently, like to the point that we had to come up with a system because it just wasn't working. Come home, go, come home, go. You're going to have to find your groove. That's going to be a tougher gig because, of course, if you're always in the air and in a hotel and not a lot of time in between, you're going to have to do some preparation or have somebody do some preparation, or even find one of those companies that does meal prep for you and have them deliver to the hotel that you're at. There's no reason why you can't be prepared and have a package waiting for you when you get there and be able to still stay within healthy eating. So that's an option. When you travel, don't skip meals. There's no benefit to it. I don't skip meals ever because, number one, I am more likely to eat something I shouldn't if I skip meals. Most of us are. And because I don't want my metabolism to drop while I travel as well. So I keep all that food with me. And again, I plan my whole vacation or my whole trip around the food that I'm going to eat, just like I plan every day around the food that I'm going to eat. So, it works for me. Again, don't forget your vitamins. And if you can avoid alcohol, once in a while, alcohol's great, but first of all, alcohol can undo an entire week or month or whatever of progress that you've made. It can make you feel miserable, especially while you travel. It can make you retain water. I just don't see it as being the best option if you can avoid it. That being said, a drink once in a while isn't going to hurt you either. But of course, if you're on competition prep, you're not drinking alcohol anyway. So anyway, those are some great tips. Hopefully I was able to touch base on anything that I know it's summer. And so it's time to start thinking about travel. We have some traveling coming up pretty soon. Yeah, I'm trying to prepare myself, multiple things, whether it's for my contest or for my son that's going to college in the fall. Got some life changes happening here at my house. So anyway, if you have questions, you guys, I get my best questions from you guys. I love feedback. I love to know what you think. If you have tips or ideas and above and beyond what I've offered, definitely offer it up because we all need to learn from it. It's great. And sometimes you think of something that I would never have thought of. But if you do have questions, you can always leave a comment below, or you can always email me at melissa@fillmorefitness.com. I do read them. I do get some great ideas. if I don't get great ideas from you guys, I usually take them from some of the questions that my current clients ask me. So, you know, it's all hopefully relevant to you, and some great ideas and some great thoughts and tips to help you just remain healthy as possible. So have an incredible week. We'll talk to you next week on Q&A Wednesday.